When the grid goes down for weeks or months, that small power bank you bought on Amazon isn't going to cut it. Most preppers think they're ready with a few batteries and a flashlight, but they're making a critical mistake that could leave their family in the dark when it matters most. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to calculate your real power needs, reveal the backup power solutions that actually work during long-term outages, and give you a step-by-step strategy that goes way beyond what most preppers are doing. By the end, you'll know how to keep your essential systems running for days, weeks, or even months without the grid. Welcome to Prep Pantry, where we cut through the fluff and give you practical prepping strategies that actually work. If you're serious about being prepared, hit that like button and subscribe for more real-world survival content. Let's start with a reality check. When most people think about a power outage, they imagine not being able to watch TV or charge their phone. But a true grid down event goes far beyond missing your favorite show. The moment the power goes out, your life changes in ways you probably haven't considered. First, let's talk about your bathroom. Yes, your toilet. If you're on city water, you might get a few flushes from the water in the tank, but once that's gone, you're done. The pumping stations that keep water flowing through the city pipes need electricity. Even if you have a well, your well pump needs power to bring water up from underground. No power means no running water, period. Then there's your heating system. Even if you have a gas furnace or boiler, it won't work without electricity. The fans, controls, and ignition systems all require power. That gas fireplace, same story. The electronic controls need electricity to operate safely. So even if you have alternative fuel sources, you might still be left in the cold. Your refrigerator will start warming up immediately, and within hours you'll be facing food spoilage. But here's what's worse. If you rely on refrigerated medications like insulin, you now have a life-threatening emergency on your hands. And if you use any medical equipment, a CPAP machine, oxygen concentrator, or any other device that keeps you or your family members healthy, you've just moved from inconvenience to crisis mode. These aren't luxury items you can live without. They're literally life support. Now here's where security becomes a real concern. During a widespread blackout, your house becomes a target if it's the only one on the block with lights on. Desperate people do desperate things. And a well-lit house screams, "We have resources." You need to think about operational security, keeping your preparations hidden from those who didn't prepare. This brings us to noise. Traditional generators are loud, really loud. Running a gas generator in your backyard during a neighborhood-wide blackout is like putting up a neon sign that says, "Rob me." You need solutions that can operate silently when necessary. So what are your actual critical needs? Let's be realistic about this. You need lighting, but that's actually the easiest problem to solve. LED lights use almost no power, and you have multiple alternatives. Flashlights, lanterns, headlamps, even candles and glow sticks. The key is controlling how much light escapes your house. Refrigeration is highly desirable, especially for medications and preserving food. A standard refrigerator uses between 1.5 and 3 kilowatt hours per day. That's a massive drain on backup power. But here's a game changer. Mini fridges and chest freezers use about half the energy of a full-size refrigerator. Even better, DC refrigerators designed for RVs can run 24/7 on a single lithium battery with an adapter. If you only need to keep medications cool, this could be perfect. Water is non-negotiable. If you're on a well, you need to power that pump. If you're on city water, you need to research your local infrastructure. Some areas have backup power for their pumping stations, others don't. Know your risks. For heating and cooling, you're looking at some of the biggest power draws in your house. A furnace fan might use 400 watts or more, and running it continuously could consume 10 kilowatt hours per day. That's enormous. You need alternatives. Fireplaces, portable propane heaters like Mr. Buddy, wood stoves. For cooling, consider swamp coolers or evaporative coolers, especially small personal units. These use a fraction of the power of air conditioning. Cooking doesn't have to require backup power if you plan ahead. Stock non-cooked foods like canned goods and freeze-dried meals. But having alternatives is valuable. Outdoor grills, solar ovens for baking and cooking using only sunlight, compact butane and alcohol stoves for indoor use. Now let's talk about calculating your actual power requirements, because this is where most preppers get it completely wrong. You can't just guess at this. You need real numbers. There are two ways to measure appliance usage. First, you can calculate manually, using the wattage listed on the appliance label and estimate how many hours you'll use it.
But this is often inaccurate because appliances don't run at constant power. A refrigerator cycles on and off. A well pump only runs when water is being used. The better method is using a power meter like the Topo watt meter or kilowatt meter. These devices give you real-time and cumulative energy usage data. Just plug your appliance into the meter and monitor its actual consumption over time. You'll be shocked at how different the real numbers are from the label ratings. Here's a critical strategy most preppers miss. Instead of trying to power your entire house, focus on one room. Choose a room that can be easily secured and completely blacked out to prevent light from escaping. This approach conserves energy and enhances your security. You're not trying to maintain your normal lifestyle during a crisis. You're trying to survive comfortably and safely. Let's look at some real numbers. A modern LED bulb uses about 10 watts. Running it for 8 hours uses 80 watt-hours of energy. A typical mini fridge might use 100 watts when running, but it only runs about 8 hours out of every 24, so that's 800 watt-hours per day. A laptop computer uses about 50 watts, so 8 hours of use is 400 watt-hours. A small fan might use 30 watts. Add these up for your chosen room, and you might find that you need 1,500 to 2,000 watt-hours per day to maintain basic comfort. That's very achievable with modern battery technology. But here's where it gets tricky. Some appliances have massive startup surges. A refrigerator might normally use 100 watts, but when the compressor kicks on, it could briefly spike to 600 watts. Your backup power system needs to handle these surges, not just the steady-state power draw. Now let's talk about solutions that actually work. The landscape of backup power has changed dramatically in recent years. Lithium iron phosphate batteries and portable power stations have become incredibly reliable and affordable. When selecting a power station, prioritize reliability over brand names or maximum capacity. Avoid unknown brands that might fail when you need them most and require hazardous waste disposal later. Stick with reputable manufacturers like EcoFlow, Bluetti, and Jackery. A 2,000 watt-hour power station is a versatile choice. It can run most essential appliances for several hours and can be recharged multiple ways. But here's the key. You need a way to connect it to your home's electrical system safely. This is where transfer switches come in. A transfer switch allows you to safely connect a backup power source to your home's electrical panel. This eliminates dangerous extension cords running through windows and enables you to power selected circuits directly. You can power your well pump, refrigerator, and essential outlets throughout the house from one central power source. Professional installation is recommended for safety and code compliance, but the benefits are enormous. No more extension cords, no more outlet overloading, and the ability to power high-demand appliances like well pumps that can't run on standard household outlets. Traditional generators still have their place, but they need to be used strategically. Gasoline, propane, or diesel generators can provide substantial power, and inverter generators are quieter and more efficient than older models, but they're still noisy and consume fuel continuously. Here's a smart strategy. Use generators during the day to recharge your battery systems and run high-demand appliances, then switch to silent power stations at night. This gives you the best of both worlds: substantial power generation when you need it, and silent operation when security matters most. Solar power changes everything for long-term outages. Even a small, modest 400-watt solar array can recharge a large power station during the day, giving you renewable energy indefinitely. Solar panels have become incredibly affordable, and they can keep your systems running when fuel runs out. Don't overlook your vehicles as power sources. You can connect an inverter to your car battery and run an extension cord into your house. Your car's alternator becomes a generator. This works best for short-term needs because of fuel consumption and noise, but it's an excellent backup option. The most resilient backup power plan uses multiple solutions working together. Here's what a complete system might look like. Your primary power source is a large capacity power station like an EcoFlow Delta Pro 3 with 4 kilowatt-hours of storage. It's connected to your home through a transfer switch, powering essential circuits like your well pump, refrigerator, and master bedroom. Your secondary power source is a generator or larger inverter system for recharging batteries and running high-demand appliances during the day. This extends your capabilities significantly. Your tertiary power consists of smaller power stations dedicated to individual devices, routers, laptops, medical equipment. These provide redundancy and ensure that critical items keep running even if your main system has problems.
Solar power provides renewable charging capability. Even a small array can make the difference between days and weeks of backup power. Alternative heating and cooking methods reduce your electrical load. A propane heater, solar oven, and outdoor grill can handle these needs without draining your batteries. This layered approach provides redundancy, flexibility, and the ability to scale your power usage based on the situation. If it's a short outage, you might only use the power stations. If it's extended, you bring in the generator and solar panels. Let's look at a real-world example. Imagine you need to power a well pump that draws 1,200 watts when running, a mini fridge that uses 800 watt-hours per day, LED lighting for 200 watt-hours per day, a laptop for 400 watt-hours, and a small fan for 240 watt-hours. That's about 1,600 watt-hours of daily consumption, plus the periodic well pump usage. An EcoFlow Delta Pro 3 with 4 kilowatt-hours of capacity could handle this load for 2 full days without recharging. Add 400 watts of solar panels, and you could potentially run indefinitely on sunny days. Have a generator available for cloudy periods or high-demand situations. The total cost for this setup might be $3,000 to $4,000, including the transfer switch installation. That sounds like a lot, but compare it to the cost of losing all your frozen food, having no water, or dealing with a medical emergency because your CPAP machine stopped working. But what if you can't afford a high-end system? There are budget-friendly alternatives that still provide real capability. Consider a mini fridge or chest freezer instead of trying to power your full-sized refrigerator. The energy savings are enormous. Look for used or refurbished power stations from reputable brands. You can often find last year's models at significant discounts. Build your own solar charging system with off-the-shelf components. A basic solar panel, charge controller, and battery setup can be assembled from much less than a commercial power station. Use your vehicle as a temporary generator with a quality inverter. This won't work for days at a time, but it can get you through short outages. Focus on no-power solutions. Stock no-cook foods, water storage, and manual tools. Sometimes the best backup power strategy is reducing your power needs in the first place. Even if you can't afford any electrical backup power, you can still prepare. Assemble a basic kit with flashlights, batteries, LED lanterns, candles, matches, a portable radio, first aid supplies, and no-cook food options. This won't power your home, but it ensures you have the basics to get through short-term outages safely. Whatever system you choose, you must test it regularly. Test your backup power systems monthly to ensure they function as expected. Rotate batteries, check fuel supplies, and verify that all connections are secure. The middle of a crisis is not the time to discover that your backup plan doesn't work. When batteries or power stations eventually fail, dispose of them properly as hazardous waste. Never throw lithium batteries in regular trash. They can cause fires in garbage trucks and landfills. Here's the bottom line. Every home and family is different. The best backup power plan is one tailored to your specific needs, budget, and environment. Start by identifying your critical systems, calculate your real power requirements using actual measurements, and build a layered approach using the solutions that fit your situation. Whether you invest in a complete transfer switch and power station system, rely on a generator, or simply assemble a basic emergency kit, the key is having a plan and practicing with it before disaster strikes. Preparation is the difference between discomfort and disaster when the grid goes down. The grid is more fragile than most people realize. Solar flares, cyber attacks, natural disasters, or simple infrastructure failures can leave entire regions without power for extended periods. The question isn't if it will happen, it's when it will happen. Don't be the prepper who thinks they're ready because they bought a small power bank and a flashlight. That's not preparation. That's wishful thinking. Real preparation means understanding your actual needs, calculating your real power requirements, and building redundant systems that can keep your family safe and comfortable when everyone else is struggling in the dark. The best time to plan for a blackout is before the lights go out. Start planning your backup power strategy today, because tomorrow might be too late. If this video helped you understand what real backup power preparation looks like, smash that like button and subscribe to Prep Pantry for more practical prepping content that could save your life. And drop a comment below. What's your biggest concern about preparing for a long-term power outage? I read every comment, and your questions help me create better content for this community. Stay prepared, stay safe, and remember, Hope for the best, but prepare for the worst.